Hello everyone, my name is Emily and I'll be reciting my poem called Rolling the Dice. This is the prologue of my life. I was decided to be a boy when in Mama's belly because my grandma wanted an heir to the Hsu family because everyone else expected me to be. And Papa said a boy should be named with masculinity. Hsu was thus my premature name, for Han stands for the bravery of a real man. Then a dramatic reverse took place in Papa's dream. On the 5th of July 1993, the blurred vision that accompanied his snoring was that the baby born tomorrow will be a girl instead. He dreamed an angel flying liftly, threading through the clouds. Thrilled by the prophecy like dream men, he renamed me as Emilie. This time no longer boyish, no more expectations. Yue means as light as the clouds upon the sky. My name was endowed with a pair of soft wings. And the prologue ends here. Now let's fast forward to 2014. I would always complain to my dad, asking why my fate for him was like rolling the dice, when he doesn't even like gambling. It wasn't gambling, he said. When you're young, you're spontaneous and adventurous. Your name is the representative work of my young age. Boom! There it started. My past ends a sort of foreshore my 1 years of wandering in this world. I never really planned what I ought to do. People say life is full of adventures. I say no, life is full of mistakes. I filled my high school preference card in the wrong order. The consequence forces me to be the English major, which was almost a dire mistake. When all other classmates were preparing for a transfer exam, I should have studied harder, just like them, so I could enter up to a better university. So that semester, insisting on going to Georgia to exchange was a mistake. My ex was honest about having cheated on his last girlfriend. Since he was being open about it, I gave him my full trust, and that undoubtedly was a mistake. Friends often joked about the mistake I've made. Not only was I a troublemaker, but more a dysfunctional artificial intelligence. Sometimes I really wish I could start it all over again. Others may say it for fun, but I've never been so serious in my life. I loathed the arrow that had been accumulated out of my carelessness, yet could not reverse them. They were like the smirch that haunted me forever. Okay, maybe I exaggerated a little bit, not entirely forever. Time elapses and we grow. I started enjoying literature after meeting Mr. John Donne, and even resolved to be English major again after I graduated from junior college. I guess it well explained why I'm here at NCCU. I probably claim myself as a stem cell, being able to make contacts in museums, business, but social work field, all thanks to my potty degree in English. The second mistake was meant for redeeming my first one. Since I was upset to have entered a junior college instead of a normal high school, I made a vow that I shall exchange to another country for fun. It wasn't a problem until I chickened out one time and strived to make myself even more miserable by studying in a library all day. Fortunately, I was not a good kid for too long. The second time I applied for exchange without letting my parents know. People often regret it for me because they are convinced I could have entered NTU if I stayed and studied for that freaking 5 months. Well, I'll tell y'all, I went to Georgia and learned some pretty awesome Southern accent, met some pretty tough women who had gone through a lot. Volunteering at Women's Shelter, it had entirely changed my heart. I earned the best reason to call the spring semester of 2011 best time ever, and kept repeating that last night in our Wesleyan sisterhood pepper rally. Once a Wesleyan, always a Wesleyan. My last mistake will be briefly mentioned here since I haven't really reconciled with it. When people are in love, they think they own the whole universe. They were gushed with inspiration to the extent that they forgot who they were, except being a lover's shadow. As a matter of fact, they were unconsciously handicapped. That bleak winter struck me with rapacious desperation, desperate for his honesty. And I found meaningless suffering being the most agonizing kind of all. Like Prometheus and Sisyphus battling the internal sorrow, anarchy, chill mode, whatever you call it. It lasted for several months. Then I approached some other fellows who really try hard to keep themselves happy, and finally urged myself to make meaning of the anguish. all the Lao Tzu and Epicurean philosophy suddenly became reasonable, my rebirth was not by any great savior's work. I knew I had to be an independent person again to retrieve the self back. A summary may not be necessary. After all, we haven't reached the end. Despair and self-affliction may assault, like the mistakes I once thought were unbearable. So far, I could only appeal my past discharge to Gong's synchronicity, that everything, no matter good or bad, will seek for its relief throughout the time. Do I blame how I have encouraged terrible people to come to hurt me, or how this mistake has distorted me into this sometimes too cynical, sophisticated human being? Probably not. Sometimes I even appreciated how they had constituted me. My father lent a pair of wings to me when I was born, not to let me stuck them in the mire, but to empower my strength as I grow. One feather falls, 2 decibels of fortage I should play to make it sound. Now Oscar Wilde's verse is always a wise choice for the closure of poem. In my case, I think he would conclude like this: we are all in the gutter, but some of us are looking at the stars. Thank you very much.